a couple years ago, a woman in my church in Africa walked up to me and said, Dr. Myles, I've been tithing for over 20 years of my Christian life, and yet the windows of heaven that I was promised have never been opened over my life. Does this mean tithing doesn't work for today? See, it was a very, very interesting question, and at that time I could not answer it, but years later when the Lord revealed to me the order of Melchizedek, I understood why the tithes of so many kingdom citizens is not working for them to produce the blessings, the results that they need to be able to change the very nature and metrics of their lives. Because you see, how we tithe today, we tithe from fear and legalism. If you use Malachi, if you've ever heard Malachi, if you don't tithe, you're going to get cursed. I mean, that kind of tithing, that's almost like being asked to give with a gun pointing at your head. I trust you're going to give, but you're not going to give out of revelation. You're going to give out of fear. But Abraham was the first man to tithe. He tithed into a kingdom. That's the difference. He tithed to sustain the economy of a kingdom that he was part of. Because when he met Melchizedek in Genesis 14, Melchizedek was a king first and then a priest second. So if he was a king first, then he had to have a kingdom. So when Abraham tithed, number one, there was no law forcing him to tithe. There was nobody telling him, Abraham, if you don't tithe, you're going to get cursed. As a matter of fact, he was already blessed. What is interesting, Abraham tithed after he got blessed. Very, very interesting. In other words, under the order of Melchizedek, we tithe as kingdom citizens, number one, because we can't help it because we have already been blessed. Number two, we tithe out of honor to the great king who's given us the ideas we have, the opportunities we have. That's the reason why we tithe under the order of Melchizedek. It's very different from the way tithing is taught today. It's very liberating to be able to tithe under the order of Melchizedek, because it's really a tithe that was designed for kingdom citizens, because it's a kingdom-driven tithe. Abraham tithed to sustain a kingdom. See, under the Malachi model, the people of Israel tithe to sustain a priesthood, a clergy. But under the order of Melchizedek, tithing is much higher. It was given to a king so his kingdom agenda could be sustained and propagated through the scope of the nations. So if you want to be a mover and a shaker, you want to change nations, then tithing is important for you, but don't tithe out of fear. Tithe out of honor, tithe out of a passion to advance the kingdom of God, because the kingdoms of this world must become the kingdom of God and his Christ. And if you want to be part of something bigger than you, then tithing gives that opportunity to be part of something bigger than you. But I'm out of time, but not out of revelation. So here's what I need to do. To get free videos on the order of Melchizedek, simply enter your name and email, and also visit my website, themarketplaceapostle.net, for more life-changing information. Shalom.